Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Dogcraft. My name is Stacy and I am joined as always by the Minecraft versions of my real life pets, Paige, Molly, Polly, and Milquetoast. And you guys, it is October. Do you know what that means? We can finally break out all of the Halloween decorations, and I am going to do that today. I'm going to decorate quite a bit of Dogcraft, my house, the bark, maybe the Quonset a bit, and then I might even go over to the fall area and start like clearing some land and preparing for like another build in the Halloween fall area of Dogcraft. So I thought I would do a Q&A, and actually a while ago on Twitter, I asked for questions specifically related to the characters of Dogcraft, because I thought, well, we haven't done that before, and I feel like that would be interesting, and you guys left amazing questions. So I am going to just go about my business basically in Dogcraft. I also need to get like some food and just like stuff like that. But I'm going to go ahead and just start doing these questions and not even pay attention to what I'm doing in game. So let's get straight into them. The first one is from Jack, and he says, Hazel the Witch, are we going to be seeing more of her in Dogcraft? I hope not. Actually, I'm just kidding. Hazel turned out to be really nice. I thought that she was trying to steal my dogs. This was in last Halloween special, but it turns out she just wanted a dog of her own, so I gave her her own little Bernese mountain dog named Claudia, and I think we'll probably see her again this Halloween. I think she's been wanting people to come back over to her haunted house. So hopefully, yes, we will see her, and hopefully she's not up to any witchy kind of bad stuff. Allison asks, what happened to Nila and Wafer? I seriously thought you were going to have a major storyline about them. Yes, Allison, I was, and I still might. Nila and Wafer were my rabbits who lived in my little garden next to my house. They disappeared, and I never found them. And there is a storyline, okay? It just is taking a lot longer to get to. So if all goes according to my plans, come like late this spring, early summer, maybe. But we'll have to see. Nika says, describe Basil in 3 words. Fast, and sweet. For those of us who don't watch Bookcraft, what is Ms. Reads-A-Lot's backstory? Oh my goodness, where do I even begin? Ms. Reads-A-Lot is the librarian from Bookcraft. In the world of Bookcraft, I have a huge library / train station / home. And that's where I live with my wolf Doggy. And Reads-A-Lot, does not like me. I check out books from her. And oh my gosh, when I checked out Hatchet and I ended up being in that plane crash, like she didn't help me at all. She has a whole backstory. I would encourage you to watch Bookcraft or just watch the Christmas Carol that we did last Christmas, because that was like a whole episode dedicated to her backstory. But yes, Miss Reads-A-Lot does not like me that much. She is here in Dogcraft for now, but when we start Bookcraft back, I'm sure she'll go back to Bookcraft. How did you choose which animals to put on the Dogcraft Friends poster? Oh, I don't think I wrote down who asked that. I'm sorry. Yes, the Dogcraft Friends poster just came out. It's available now. I'll have a link to it in the description. And it was actually very hard to choose who was in the poster. I started working on the poster before the mini rescue expedition. So none of those dogs that I got at the Ice Spikes biome were in the running, because it was before I started work on the poster way back when, commissioning an artist named Nico, and obviously I had to choose Polly and Paige and Milquetoast and Molly, but then I chose like Pongo and Perdita because they're the Dogcraft originals. I chose one dog from kind of like from every breed, I believe, that I had at the time. Except for maybe Sadie. I'm pretty sure I found a dog from every breed that I had at the time. And I am working on something that has all of the wolves on it, but I chose Wink because he's normally the one that goes with me. Like, he went with me on the original expedition. I tried to figure out like whose favorites there were, and I know not everyone's going to be pleased, but I think I got a good assortment of them. And also keep in mind that this is just the first of hopefully a lot more Dogcraft merchandise that I can put out. So if your favorite dog wasn't on the poster, definitely let me know in the comments below. Kiara asks, what is Madeline's favorite pastry? It's obviously a Madeline. And Lauren asks, where are Madeline and Henri? I don't trust them. I don't trust them either. I think that they're up to no good. It appears that they're traveling or something, but I didn't even see a note from them, and Croissant was just left in the posteria. So I have a little bit of a bone to pick with them if they ever come back. What type of dog is Polly? So Polly is a mutt. Mutts are my favorite kind of dogs. Paige is a mutt, Molly is a mutt, and Polly is a mutt. But if I had to guess what Polly was, I would guess that she is like an American foxhound mixed with an Italian greyhound. She is lightning fast. She could give Basil a run for her money. She is so fast, and her stomach kind of curves up like a greyhound, and she's got a very pointy snout that's not really like a beagle snout. Beagle snouts are like more broad, and like foxhound snouts are more broad. Hers is very pointy. So that would be my best guess, or maybe like foxhound plus whippet, something like that. Tucker asks, where did the dog guard grow up? I love your name, Tucker. The dog guard. Oh, where did he grow up? I don't think I know. Oh my gosh. I'm just imagining the cutest little like baby dog guard, like a tiny little baby Iron Golem. Where do you suppose he did grow up? I don't know, maybe Siberia? Alex asks, how are the foxes doing at the Christmas cabin? I actually checked on the foxes not too long ago when I went over and brought mistletoe home when I was training all the cats to defeat the second creeper army. And the foxes were fine. There's 3 of them. I can't even remember their names. I think one of them is Tinsel. They're name tagged, so I'll see them this holiday. But yeah, I think the foxes are fine. I've got the penguin over there, the foxes. I've got some sheep. Am I missing anyone? We have mistletoe here now. Yeah, I think that's all of my pets over there. I might be missing someone. Dawn asks, is the dog guard related to Clay? Okay, so if you don't watch my other series, Mystic Mesa, I have an Iron Golem over there, but he's not an Iron Golem. He's actually a clay golem, and he looks like a golem that belongs in the Mesa. He's made out of hardened clay. So he looks similar to the dog guard, but I don't think that they're related. I mean, maybe they could be like, you know, second cousins once removed or something, but I don't think they're related. Christopher asks, what does Dr. K9 Healer do in her free time? Kay is actually an avid spelunker. Are you ever going to do anything special for Pipsqueak? Okay, so Pipsqueak is my mouse. I don't even remember how I got Pipsqueak. Did Pipsqueak just appear? I'm not even sure. I feel like I have done nice things. I put out that cheese, and I made like the little mouse holes in the wall. I don't know. I mean, it's a mouse, so probably not. Most people don't like mice in their homes, so I think the very fact that I haven't shooed Pipsqueak out of my home is something special. Emma asks, how is Honeymumu doing? So Honeymumu is my cow that lives in the big milk bottle build that's over by the Hound Hospital, and that's my dairy cow. I go to her whenever I need like milk bottles or milk buckets, and then all my other cows are over in the drive-in movie theater pasture over by the pigs. And she's one of my oldest cows that I have here in Dogcraft. I mean, she is... I wonder what episode I got her in. It must have been pretty early on. And she's doing great. She's, I think she's fine. I guess I should go ask her. Sophia asks, who are Wink's parents? And I get this messed up all the time. I have a hard time remembering. I went out and I got, did I get 3 or 4 wolves in the beginning? I think I got Everest and Tucker and Noah and Basil all at the beginning, and then Wink was born that same night and was a puppy. But then didn't Basil and Tucker have Droplet and Splat? Aren't those their children? But I also feel like Basil and Tucker weren't converted to Doggy Talents wolves at the same time that Noah and Everest and Wink were. But I could be totally wrong about that. But I do know that I got Addison later. Addison was spawned from my math textbook mod that I had. That's why she's so smart. So would that mean that Basil and Tucker are Wink's parents? I'm actually not sure, Sophia. Sorry. Do Nippy and the other animals at the cabin get lonely when you don't visit them? So Nippy is my penguin that's over at the Christmas cabin. I don't think the foxes get lonely at all because they're wild animals. They're not like domesticated foxes. They are extremely wild, and if I go up to them, they will run away from me and screech. I do think that Mistletoe was a little sad. Knoll, the Ender Elf, was supposed to be Mistletoe's owner, but Knoll teleports away after every holiday season. So I think Mistletoe was a little bit sad. I don't know about Nippy. I feel like I just need to build Nippy his own like icy igloo enclosure this coming holiday and not leave him indoors. He's probably not the happiest indoors. I don't think a penguin named Nippy wants to be by a fireplace. Jenna asks, will Kay ever get a small house or a room in the flick of her own? She doesn't have anywhere to live. Yeah, I should probably work on that. I got the dog guard his own house finally, not that many episodes ago, but Dr. Ninehealer and Madeline and Henri don't have their own homes, and that's probably why those two left. I don't think that Kay actually can leave because of the iron doors. So yeah, I should probably get her a home. Can you make a downstairs lab at the new flick for the baby zombies? That's not a bad idea. Well, ham on eggs is still missing, but I've got all of those. Molly, be quiet. I've got all of those baby zombies and the baby chicken zombie that I would rather not have in my home because I feel like that's slightly problematic. Because like if one of them were to hit me, then the dogs would go after them, like especially the Copious dogs mod dogs. They fight hard. So yeah, that's not a bad idea. I will take that into consideration. Rita asks, how does Damian the Sheep farm with his little sheepy toes? Damian the Sheep is my yellow sheep that lives in the fire hydrant, and that's where all of my produce is. And I kind of don't think that Damian is necessarily farming all of the crops. I kind of see him as like the bartering kind that like outsources the production of the crops and like gets them shipped in. That's just kind of how I feel. I don't know. I mean, I think that the pigs are obviously producing their own carrots now. But yeah, I mean, that's a good question, how he like stacks the apples with his little... What do sheep have? Are they hooves? I'm not really... No, sheep don't have hooves. What does a sheep's foot look like? I can't even picture a sheep's foot. Huh. Okay, next question. Nico asks, what are the wolves' favorite hobbies, including Splat and Droplet? That is a really good question. Obviously, there's some easy ones. Like Noah's favorite hobby is obviously fishing. He does it all the time. He catches fish whenever you take him near water. Addison's favorite hobby is definitely reading. Tucker does needlepoint. Wink has his poop and scoop side business that he runs. Of course, Basil's favorite hobby is distance running. And as for Droplet and Splat, I mean, they both definitely like water. I think swimming is a passion for both of them. Droplet is more into just swimming, but then Splat is more into water polo. And then Everest's favorite hobby, I mean, Everest is kind of a serious wolf. I think he's like the most serious wolf that I have. What is Everest's hobby? I'm actually not sure. I mean, I don't want to be like cliche, but I guess mountaineering. Molly is eating in the background, by the way. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not. You probably can't, but that's what Molly's doing right now. Okay, do you think the dog guard and Knoll would get along? Oh, goodness. Like I said, Knoll is my ender elf that lives at the Christmas cabin. I don't know if I've ever seen an Iron Golem and an Enderman together. I feel like the Iron Golem would definitely attack the Enderman, but the Enderman could just teleport away. But maybe they don't attack the Enderman because the Enderman's not hostile unless the player looks at him in the eye. So maybe they get along. Maybe they would be best friends. Has the dog guard ever visited his cousin from episode 141? Yeah, so the dog guard does have a cousin that I spawned at the village that we were at the first rescue expedition to protect those villagers and their door world. Do you guys remember that? But I don't think that the dog guard has ever visited him, no. Maybe now that we have the Nether tunnel system, he could get to his cousin much faster. But before that, I don't think that Iron Golems are big walkers, really. Not over long distances. Haley asks, when Ms. Reads a Lot leaves, will you get another librarian? Yeah, so I think once Bookcraft starts again, Reads a Lot will obviously go back there. She's just kind of like preparing her card catalog system right now and getting everything in place. Getting all the dogs issued library cards. It's a big nightmare. But I think that Paige will take over a little bit at the library. Like, that's kind of her building, like Paiges Public Library. You've got Polly's Pet Supply. So it's kind of like her thing too. So I think Paige will just take over. Owen asks, will you do a build for each dog from your wolf pack? Because you have Tucker's Treehouse and Basil's Barkery. Aha, Owen. I also have Everest Falls, which is the giant waterfall that I see every morning when I go out on my balcony. The Bark was the first building, I believe, that I dedicated to one of my wolves, and that is actually Noah's Bark. Addison has her Academy for Wayward Wolves, and Wink has the Dopgark. And that is all of the wolves that have their own place. And then the splash pad belongs to both Droplet and Splat, because I feel like they both were born at the splash pad. Accidentally, I might add. Why does Wink love the Nether so much? Yeah, so Wink has been to the Nether several times. And I don't know. I think Wink is drawn to whatever place he can get into the most trouble in. And in Dogcraft, that is the Nether. So I think that is why he likes the Nether, because he can get into a lot of trouble there. Minnie asks, why did you name Henry with an I and not a Y? Because Henry is Madeline's brother, and they're from France. And so it's actually Henri. So it's spelled with an I. When are you going to fix the hill behind Addisons Academy, Sugar Salon, and Polly's Pet Supply? Yeah, so there was a mountain there, and then I kind of like took big chunks of it away to build those buildings, and so now what's left is like a 90-degree stone angle, and it doesn't look very good. I need to terraform it like over by the academy and put some trees and grass on it, and I'll get to it eventually. I kind of feel like that's part of the charm of Dogcraft, is that the town is still very much a work in progress. And it's nice that there's still projects like that that I have left to do. I don't want to have everything 100% finished just yet. I'm still building in the town, and there's still a few more buildings that I want to do and landscaping that I want to do. And so it's nice to still have those projects for now, because I don't want the town to be completed just yet. What sort of things inspire you for each build? Also, keep up the good work. And that is from Wolf Pup KG, who is actually the person who is responsible for all of the textures in the Copious Dogs mod. So I would say to you that the dogs inspire me for the builds. Every build, if you think about it, besides the ones that I guess are for the cats, but most of the builds in Dogcraft are for the dogs. And you made the dogs, so I would say that you inspire me for Dogcraft, and thank you for your tweet. Thanks a lot. And I'm looking forward actually to updating. I know you have been working your tail off on lots of new dogs, so I'm really excited. So thank you for everything that you do and for making Dogcraft possible. Who is the oldest animal resident? Well, I think that would have to be Molly. Molly is the first dog that I tamed in Dogcraft episode 1, which is kind of funny because I got Molly after I got Paige in real life, but Molly is actually the first dog that I came across in Dogcraft was a beagle. So I think Molly is the oldest animal resident, followed closely by, was it Pongo first or Perdita first? So yeah, those three are the original residents, and the Squickens have been around for a while as well. Ava asks, why did you pick an Iron Golem over a Snow Golem? I'm not really sure why I did at the time, but I'm kind of very glad that I did, because I tried to make a Snow Golem for the cats in an episode, and it died. And I'm pretty sure that it didn't rain, and even if it did rain, I think that the cat area, well, no, it's not technically in the snow, but it's covered. So I don't know. The Snow Golem died, and the Iron Golem, like, the dog guard has been a good guard. I'd still like to get a Snow Golem at some point, but yeah, they're a little bit finicky. I know the dog guard is shy, but will we ever hear his voice? Probably not. I think he's more the strong, silent type, but if you do watch I think it was the first Puppy Bowl ever, there was a commercial where you actually heard the dog guard talk, yes. How did you decide the wolves' collars? Oh, that's an interesting question I don't think I've ever talked about before. So there's lots of colors in the Doggy Talents mod that you can choose from. And I think that I didn't want to have anything too similar to vanilla Minecraft collar colors. So I picked Wink's as red just because I thought like Wink is the quintessential like standard Minecraft wolf, and I think now wolves' collars are orange, but at the time they were red, and so I did red. Then I think I did Everest's as silver because it just kind of reminded me of snow, and that's what I think of when I think of Everest. Hey Molly. Molly just came over to me. How are you, Malls? Let's see here. Addisons is kind of like a peachy color, which at times I regret because there's like nothing else in Minecraft that you can match to that, like wool or clay or anything. Her bed is coral, but her collar is technically like a light peach. Basil's is like a yellow green, and I guess it just kind of was like inspired by like yellow lightning. Basil's eyes I like to think of as being yellow. They're not really in the game, but that's how I think of them. I think of like, you know, Everest's eyes are like silver gray, and Noah's eyes are like beautifully blue, and Basil's eyes are like piercing yellow / green. Tucker, I think I might have, did I get Tucker in the fall or did I get Tucker originally? I don't know. I liked kind of like this sort of burnt orange type of color for Tucker, although it does look very similar to Wink. Everest is royal blue, but sometimes with the shaders it looks a little bit purple, and I think that's kind of how I came up with them. I didn't really think about it very much, to tell you the truth. I just kind of went with what I liked. How are Paige's puppies doing? You haven't visited them in a while. I'm sure they miss you. And that is from Dylan, which is really funny because one of the Paige's puppies' names is Dylan. I think they're doing good. You're right. I don't see them that often, not as often as I would like. That's kind of the one regret in Dogcraft. I've always wondered if that spot behind the Hound Hospital was the right spot for them. For that very reason, because I don't see them that often. I've thought about moving them in the past, but I'm not really sure where I'd move them to because I like their little up houses. So I don't know. But yeah, I need to include them more. Sometimes I think I don't include them. Like I should bring them over to the agility course once in a while so they can get some exercise. Gabby asks, in Mystic Mesa, what dog do you want the most? So for the longest time when I was planning my series Mystic Mesa, I was thinking that there would not be any dogs, but then at the very last minute, I ended up adding my own mod called Stacy's Wolves that introduces 23 biome and block inspired wolves. And I wouldn't have them in Dogcraft because Dogcraft is more like realistic, and Mystic Mesa is about everything being like over the top, crazy, mystical. And I have already so many dogs that I absolutely love. I have a mermaid dog named Pearl. I have a mushroom dog named Bella. I have a prismarine, well, I had a prismarine wolf named Finn. R.I.P. Finn. I have a blaze wolf that actually has like blaze fire particles. There's so many more still to get, but I think that the one that I really, really like, that I really want is, I call him the scientist, and he's the end wolf. I can't remember if I was going back and forth with the coder of the mod, whether they should spawn in the end or if they should spawn in the stronghold. And I can't remember what we decided on. I wanted them to spawn in the stronghold, I think, because I wasn't sure about getting them home from the end. But I do have the golden lasso where you can teleport animals inside the golden lasso, or you can transport them. But yeah, I probably, who knows when I'll get that one, but I really want that one because I was working with the Wall Shirts build team on the textures of the wolves, and I was like, what if you put Eyes of Ender as its like eyeballs? And it made it look like it was wearing these really crazy scientist, like thick magnifying glasses, and it's hilarious. So I really want him. Kevin asks, are your dogs healthy? And I'm assuming you mean in real life. And yes, for the most part, they're healthy. Molly, of course, had a lot of health problems when I first got her. She had heartworm when I rescued her, and she almost died from it. And so the doctors tell me that her lungs and her heart sound great now, but she gets worms a lot. I think she's just a very wormy beagle that sticks her nose in everything. So I'm always worried about her health, but she seems like she's really doing great. And Paige is actually my oldest dog, and I just took her to the vet and got a full blood panel that showed how her kidneys and liver and pancreas and electrolytes were functioning, and the vet said that she looks super healthy for her age. She looks great. Her heart sounds great. Her lungs sound great. She has no parasites, and she's doing good. The only thing the vet said that is that some of her back teeth looked a little bit fractured, which kind of makes me a little sad because I don't want that to start causing her any pain. She aggressively chews on like antlers. Like I'm like 70% sure that Paige is like has some actual like feral fox in her or something, and if she saw roadkill she would just start eating it or something. I don't know. So I have to be very careful. Any kind of like antler, or like, I don't give them bones, but like any type of dog chew like that, she will just go after it like a bone and just like crack her teeth on it. And apparently she's actually done a little bit of damage. So that kind of worries me a bit. But I mean, it's also natural for a dog. She's 10 and a half. So anyway, for the most part, yes, they're very healthy. Bree asks, do you think you'll go on another expedition? What dogs do you want to get? So like I mentioned, there's actually an update to the mod coming soon, I believe, or part of it might already be out and I haven't updated yet, but there's quite a few more breeds. There's still some breeds like the boxer and the pug that I haven't gotten yet, so I definitely want all of those, any that I don't have so far. Are there any others that I don't have yet? I'm not sure. I don't know if I'll go on another like major expedition. I might, but I also like the idea of using the Nether tunnel network to branch out to more biomes so that I don't have to go on like super long expeditions. They can be like shorter ones. Will Paige and Molly ever have kids in Dogcraft? So Paige did have puppies. I don't even remember what episode that was, but I think it was called Paige's Secret. And I mean, I don't regret her having puppies, but it's actually not really true to life because in real life, both Paige and Molly are spayed and poly, so they can't have puppies. So I don't think that they'll have puppies again. I could be wrong, but that's just kind of what I think. I always believe in rescuing a dog and going to a shelter and adopting a dog, so I struggle with, like, I always want to have puppies in Dogcraft because they're so adorable and small, but I also, don't want to turn Dogcraft into a puppy mill because the whole point is to rescue a dog. Xander asks, do you know exactly how many dogs you have in Dogcraft? Well, Xander, it's enough to make the world lag a lot to the point where I'm constantly searching for new and better computers to run the Dogcraft world, because not only do I have 101 Dalmatians, but then I've got all of the dogs and cats in my world, but I also chose to build my world in the middle of a redwood forest, and all of those leaf blocks and the shaders animate each leaf block. It's like, it's a mess. So I have a lot. If I had to guess, I would guess that I have like probably like 170, 150. Gosh, I don't know. Maybe it's not that many. I mean, if you got the wolves as the dogs, plus Paige's kids, plus all the dogs in the bark and the Quonset, plus like Claudia and Croissant, it's got to be like 150. I don't know. It's a lot. Emma asks, do you know the specific region of France that Madeleine and Henri come from? And yes, they are from Provence. And then Caitlin asks, how does the dog guard wake up every morning and shower? Does he never sleep? I think the dog guard does sleep. I think the dog guard is like a horse where he can sleep standing up as well if he doesn't go back to his house. But also the dog guard wakes up very early. I don't know if you guys remember, there was one episode of Dogcraft where I was up at the crack of dawn. The sun was not even over the mountain yet. And the dog guard was on a walk with several of the dogs, like over by the dock. And I waved to him and he didn't really see me. But I think that the dog guard wakes up very, very early and he takes like shifts walking certain dogs on certain days around Dogcraft. And then he comes back and he puts them back in the bark and then he takes a shower after walking the dogs. And it's easier just to take a shower in the bark rather than going back to his home because he's already at work. And that's like normally when I'm waking up and walking over there and then I see him taking his shower. That is what I suspect. Darcy asks, will you ever go on an expedition for horses? I would love to. When I first started Dogcraft, I used to see horses all over the world. Like, I'm pretty sure when I rescued Paige in Dogcraft, there were a bunch of wild horses by her. But even on, like, the expeditions that I've gone on recently, I haven't seen that many horses. If I ever do decide to get more horses, I would probably have to expand a different area besides the mini Mesa. Like maybe eventually the mini Mesa will turn into more of like my donkey and mule kind of area. And then I'll have a separate horse area somewhere else in the world. But that would have to be if I had like multiple horses, which I haven't seen happening so far. I don't think I can breed asparagus with cinnamon toast. Although, I mean, I guess I should try. How cute would a baby zombie horse be? Okay, and this last question cracked me up. It said, are Ms. Reads-A-Lot and Madeline BFFs? Do they have grumpy sleepovers where they gossip about you? Just the visual of Ms. Reads-A-Lot and Madeline having a grumpy sleepover cracked me up. I hope that someone draws that. But actually, no, they haven't met yet because Madeline and Henri left town before Reads-A-Lot came in, and even when we did the Bookcraft crossover and Dog Ear came to Bookcraft, I don't think Ms. Reads-A-Lot ever did. So no, they haven't met yet, but I hope that that happens. I don't hope that that happens because they both dislike me, and so I don't want them to like conspire against me, but I hope that it happens just because it makes me laugh. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A. It was kind of fun to do because last year I did a Q&A, I think that was called Questions and Cobwebs, at the same kind of time of year. So this was really sentimental to get to do and to decorate my entire world for Halloween. I'm super excited for this. So anyway, I'm going to end this episode here. Thank you all for watching, but until next time, Paige and Molly love you. Go rescue a dog.